Welcome back. We'll be talking about some of the major key concepts in science and technology. Some of these were directly or indirectly in news these days, and these are really very important for your upcoming examination. So we have taken few of these. Now the first concept is the Einstein-Chauvelin ring. Now let's understand the concept first. The concept says the gravity bends the space. So for example, you have sun or any other pulsar here. So what it would do is, it would bend the surrounding space, and now once you have the surrounding space that is bended, you would have the earth or other heavenly bodies that would revolve around it here. And let's say earth is here, so it would again create a bend around itself, and you would have moon that would revolve around here. So that's how you have a kind of bend that is created. Now as we know, if you have a lens, convex lens here, you would have lights that would bend towards the center. So similar things happen in the space. So let's say you have a heavenly body emitting light, and you have a massive body that comes in between, and you have earth. Now till now, if there was no massive body, the light would reach directly to the earth, but since there is a massive body here that is present, the light would have to bend, so it would move, let's say, in this fashion. Now if I look from the point here, I could assume that you would have a heavenly body here, or a heavenly body here, a heavenly body in front of it or at the back of it. So there could be 4 points that could be marked, and this could be a ring that could be shown where you would have the light that would be seen, and this is what is known as the Einstein's ring. So that's the very first concept. The next is AMOLED. What are AMOLED? Before we talk about, let's talk about LEDs. LEDs are light efficient devices, and what they do is they convert most of their energy as light energy, and as a result they are low cost, low power, and they are much more efficient. Now one of these concept is these LEDs do not have their color on its own. So you have the concept of OLED, that is organic LED, and these organic LEDs bring in colors. So if I want to bring in a color to this LED bulb, what I can do is, one way is I can put a colored paper on the top, or I can do an OLED. So if there is either of these two, there could be colors that could be seen. So that is what is OLED, which is nowadays common as a thin film display technology, which uses organic compounds. Now what is AMOLED? AMOLED is a concept where you have a kind of panel of LED, and each LED has an individual capacity for on and off. So rather than lighting this panel all at once, I have the capability to individually light off each of these LEDs, and that is what is known as AMOLED technology, which is active matrix organic light emitting diode. So that is the second concept that we have, and it is integrated onto the thin film transistor array, which is also known as the TFT array. The next is light fidelity or Li-Fi. Now Li-Fi is a separate technology, and it uses light waves rather than radio frequency waves to carry the data. It is free to use, it is unlicensed, and what happens is the LED bulb acts as a router, and then it is connected to the internet. It provides high speed data transmission with low interference, and therefore it doubles the benefit of both light and internet. It can work under water as well, where you cannot have radio frequencies, and the data density is nearly 1000 times more than Wi-Fi. And this is the way, as we said, how the data flows. So data flows into a device, into the bulb, and finally it is carried as light waves. These light waves fall on a dongle, which is finally connected to the computer. The next is low temperature thermal desalinization process. Now purifying water is a unique way. If you have a salt water which is present in the ocean, it is very hard to refine it. So what can be done? The best way is to understand the difference between the sea surface temperature and the bottom temperature. So this surface has a temperature which is warmer as compared to the bottom, which is cooler, and this difference in the temperature automatically helps in the desalination process. So what is done is, when there is a difference in the temperature, if the pressure is less, the water is evaporated at less than its normal temperature, and therefore the evaporated water passes over this cold water and the water is finally distilled. So this is more environmental friendly, but it definitely has higher cost. It has lesser cost than the normal desalination method, because you are automatically using the natural difference in the temperature gradient that is present here. The next is crystallography, that's the arrangement of the atoms in a crystalline solid. In 2012, the United Nations recognized the importance of crystallography, and 2014 was declared as the year of crystallography. Now, X-ray crystallographies are used to study large biomasses like biomolecules like proteins, and it is also used nowadays in X-ray, neutrons and electron diffractions. So, this is again an important technique. The next is spintronics. Now, electron has two components. One is the charge, that is positive and negative. The second one is the spin, which is up spin and down spin, and this is what is spintronics, that transports the electronics and it uses the intrinsic electronic spin. It is also associated with the magnetic momentum, and these spins are manipulated both by the magnetic momentum and the electric field. The next is HEVC, that is high efficiency video coding. Now this talks about the compressing the video formats. So video compression standards are used, and it is a successor to the MPEG-4 AVC, that's the advanced video coding. The first version was completed in 2013, the second in 2014, and the second version that came up supports the enhanced video formatting and is also doing scalable coding extensions. So these are the two things that are good with the second version. The next is microplastics. Now microplastics are those small plastics of the size of 1 millimeter to 5 millimeters commonly seen in the ocean bodies, and these microplastics are nowadays hazardous because they enter the ocean animals and they finally cause various diseases and death in the marine life. So therefore microplastics have come into news. Now a lot of microplastics are released through cosmetic products as well. What is done is these commonly used Neuston nets are used to sample out the water, and these are very fine mesh, and when they are used in the water they sample out the microplastics, and therefore we can study how much microplastic is present in a given region. The next is Doppler radar. Now Doppler radar was in news because the 6th Doppler radar has been established on the east coast. The previous ones have been established at Chennai, Kolkata, Machilipatnam, Visakhapatnam and Paradeep. Now the east coast is prone to numerous radars and cyclonic disturbances. Therefore, establishing a Doppler radar would be a good effort for weather forecasting and weather monitoring in these regions. This was built by a joint effort of BAIL and ISRO. Now, what is the principle for Doppler? The Doppler principle says when the source and the observer are in relative motion, there is a change in the frequency or the wavelength that is observed. So, when the source and the observer are moving closer to one another, the frequency increases. However, when they move apart, the frequency decreases. So, that is the basic principle of Doppler that is used in the Doppler radars for weather forecasting and weather monitoring. The next is biobatteries. Now biobatteries have also come into play a lot because the original batteries are considered as a e-waste and they create a kind of environmental issues. So you have biobatteries that are coming up. Now these biobatteries have a positive and a negative, as we saw in the class unexpected question. This negative is charged by bio-waste liquid fuel which could be anything like sugar, glucose, and the final product that is coming up is not waste. So it is non-flammable, non-toxic, and you have a kind of positive and negative terminals that are made with the help of biological elements. So that was it. The next is very, very important. The National Physical Laboratory has synced the Indian time with the leap second. Now what is this? This is a very, very important concept. Every day 1/2000 of a second is decreased, and if that goes on every 500 days, what we have to do? We have to add 1 second, and that is what is known as leap second. So every 500 days you add up 1 second and that is known as leap second, and therefore you set your international atomic clocks. This was for this time done by the National Physical Laboratory, and this leap second was added to the Indian time. Now why? What would happen if this is not added? There could be military failures, there could be aircraft issues, there could be aircraft collisions, and there could be errors in the financial market. So maintaining that atomic clock is very, very important. The next is FLCD. The ferroelectric liquid crystal device is a new generation LCD display. It has fast switching time, it has low dot pitch which results in better resolution, better viewing angle, better picture with thin interface, and it is much cheaper to run on electricity than the normal LEDs. So with electricity what happens is it gets magnetized and it has better results. The next is nanodots. Now for the computers, as we use hard disk, this is a new technology that has come into being, and these are nano disks which are magnetized, which can have 100 times more data than the hard disk. They can store the information in small packets, and these small packets switch the polarity to represent the binary digits. So these are small quantum dots that could be seen, and this is again very important, a new technology. The concept of double fertilization. Now double fertilization talks about fertilizing one female gametophyte with two male gametophytes. In usual it is one female with one male gametophyte, but in double fertilization there is one female with two male gametophyte, as could be seen in the picture. So you have the two male gametophytes that are here which are fused with one female gametophyte, and that is what is double fertilization. The next is genome sequencing. Now this is a process that completes or determines the DNA sequence of an organism at a single time, and it uses the organism's DNA and the DNA in the chromosome and the mitochondria. The next is noise net. Now this is again a very, very important concept. You must have come across it a lot of time but have never paid attention to it. When you are flying in an aeroplane, you never see birds close by. If they come very close, what would happen? They might die because of the friction. So what happens is there is a noise net, that is a controlled air that is around the aircraft, and that is filled with the acoustic noise that makes the area much more riskier for the birds. So birds don't tend to come close to the aeroplane, and because of this technique, the number of birds which are coming near to the aircraft are reduced to 80%, and it saves the birds from colliding with the aircraft. The next is CRISPR Cas9. Now this is very important genome editing tool. It is faster, it is cheaper, it is much more accurate, it is simpler, and it uses two molecules that brings in changes into the DNA. The one is the enzyme Cas9 that acts as a molecular scissor, and the other is guide RNA that sequences with the longer RNA. Now what happens is you have the target sequence here for the DNA. You have the guide RNA that binds to the target RNA. Now comes into play the enzyme Cas9. Now this Cas9 acts as a scissor, and it breaks the strands of the DNA and causes mutation. So you can have a dark and a light, and dark and a light that could be seen in, and this cut has been brought about by the enzyme Cas9, and this is a very important genome editing tool of recent that has been used. The next is the high voltage direct current. Now as we know, there are two types of current, the direct current and the alternating current. If a person comes close to a direct current, he would remain stuck to the wire. However, if there is an alternating current, he might get away from it. So high direct current are much more dangerous. They uses direct current, and they are less expensive, have low losses, because the direct current is directly flowing from positive and you have the negative, and this is a kind of direct flow that could be seen. So it is there are less losses in case of direct currents. Now this is the outline of the Europe, where you have the power transmissions which are converted into the renewable ones. So these are the existing high voltage direct current lines which are now converted into renewable sources by hydropower or wind power. The red ones show the existing lines and the small green ones show the upcoming projects under the HIDVC. So these are the high voltage direct current lines that are commonly seen in Europe. With this we cover the important concepts in science and technology. We will be covering more topics for expected questions in the upcoming lectures. Have a good day ahead.